very good evening. We are coming to you live from our Pocket Hill studios here in the capital, Harare. This is the news at 8. I am Tanaka Mienyua.
And I am Yvonne Mukondan. It is a pleasure having you with us. This week, Jamonica gives us the bulletin in sign language, and Dora Ngube will join us from Montrose. But for now, let's take a look at the stories that we are leading with.
Kwaramba villagers in Makoni district bids a farewell to national hero Brigadier Mutsunguma.
In business news, Zimbabwe's investor-friendly policies charm foreign investors.
And in sport, the football community bids farewell to the late former Dynamos and Ghana's striker, Numen Maroto. That is it for the headlines. We now take a look at the news in greater detail. President Emmerson Mnangagwa says the multiple infrastructure projects in Harare are set to be rolled out in other provinces as part of the broader modernization program.
He said this as he engaged with the ZANU-PF members during the National Consultative Assembly this Friday.
The past few months have witnessed Harare leading to Mount Hamden receiving a facelift through infrastructure development, with roads and villas being constructed while some hotels are getting a facelift.
Since the advent of the Second Republic, we have transformed the infrastructure landscape in both rural and urban areas. Notable progress has been made in the construction of dams, roads, and power generation facilities, among others. We have spent about 3 hours at where Parliament is, where we are building a new city. When that new city is complete, instead of you going to Dubai to admire Dubai, people in Dubai will come and admire our city. I assure the National Consultative Assembly members that the road rehabilitation construction program will be scaled up in our various provinces and districts. Other social service facilities and amenities in our communities are also being modernized and appropriately equipped. The ZANU-PF government, through the devolution and decentralization agenda, has funded the construction of new health centers and schools. It has also availed services such as the issuance of national IDs and the passports closer to the people.
He noted that infrastructure development being administered is testimony of the expertise in locals, while recognizing the role institutions of higher learning play in human capital development.
I toured with the Vice President, Kumechiwenga, the magnificent new city, which will be the venue for SADC Summit, along with the various infrastructure projects being rolled out to ensure greater convenience to our guests. I want to commend our people and contractors in particular for the dedication, passion, focus, and overall work ethic being exhibited. This infrastructure we are constructing is for posterity, and it will enable us to host more international meetings and conferences. The ongoing modernization and the transformation of our cities and towns will continue to all parts of the country. Ticharamba, tichivaka nyika yedu, tichingovaka, tigongovaka.
The Second Republic has placed emphasis on infrastructure development while also gravitating towards raw industrialization in line with the National Development Strategy 1. Wellington Makonese, ZBC News, Harare.
The body of national hero Brigadier General retired Romeo Daniel Muchungoma was this Saturday taken to his rural home in Makoni district, where villagers had an opportunity to bid him farewell.
The Kwaramba community in Makoni West was this Saturday given an opportunity to bid farewell to Brigadier General retired Romeo Daniel Mchunguma. Family and friends spoke glowingly on the life of the late national hero, who they described as a humble man who contributed towards the development of his rural community.
Takazvarwa musi umwe chete ende takakura tichitamba tese nonguva ine rudo comrade avo vakanga vachigashira mazera ese tikachererwa mugodhi apo bhoho vakaticherera mugodhi kuti tisanetseke mvura. Vakatiitira mapurojekiti akawanda kuno, waidzidzisa vana vaitadza kubhadharirwa school fees nevabereki, waitaura kuti aiwa sabhuku ndipei vana vasiri kuenda kuchikoro.
Hapana munhu asina kubatsira kumhuri yangu nekumhuri yemusha. Munhu anga akazvipira kubatsira community.
The local school also benefited from Brigadier General retired Mchunguma's benevolence and generosity.
Waiuya pakatsenga secondary school wachitiona, wachitiadresa, wachiti-encourage, wachibva watitaurira kuti no, maexams enyu imimi musabhadhare mari, ndini ndichakutakurai kusvika ese apera. Saka takaita 3 years Brigadier Mchunguma wachititakurira maexams edu.
Makoni West legislator Dr. Jennifer Mswere, who was among government and ZANU-PF leaders who graced the Mchunguma rural homestead, described the late national hero as a rare breed of patriotic individuals.
Kuti nyika itsununguke pakaita kusenza kwemayouth enguva iyoyo anosanganisira vana comrade Mchunguma vachitungamirirwa nevatungamiriri vatinavo muzuva ranhasi vana president Mnangagwa. Iyo generation yanga yakazvipira kusunungura nyika ino kubva mumaoko evapambepfumi. Generation yanga yakazvipira zvakare kufira upfumi hwenyika ino. Generation yanga yakazvipira kuti hatingaregeri vapambepfume vachitonga nekudzvanyirira vana veganda dema. Saka chitsvambe chatapiwa naComrade Mchunguma muzuva ranhasi tichivarangarira tichichema ndeyekuti Zimbabwe comes first. We should do everything in our capacity to defend, advance and protect the rights and interests of Zimbabwe as a country.
The board of the national hero will be flown to Harare this Sunday ahead of Monday's burial at the National Heroes Acre. Kenya's Chivuje, ZBC News, Makoni.
The National Museums and Monuments has received conservation, surveying and documentation equipment from the United Nations Office for Project Services. The equipment will be used to rehabilitate and develop the Great Zimbabwe World Heritage Site under the Great Zimbabwe Development Project.
Following the launch of the Great Zimbabwe Development Project by President Emmerson Mnangagwa in 2022, partners in the project have handed over capacity building and documentation equipment to the National Museums and Monuments of Zimbabwe. The government says the equipment handed over by the United Nations Office for Project Services, funded by the French development agents and implemented by UNESCO and the National Museums and Monuments of Zimbabwe, will ensure sustainable conservation, management and development of Great Zimbabwe World Heritage Site.
The overall objective of the project was and remains to, as has been said again, to stimulate sustainable, inclusive development and cultural heritage of Zimbabwe through enhancing World Heritage Site and strengthening national capacities to manage and enhance the World Heritage Site, as well as promoting interlinkages with the local community and also local economy.
Some of the partners in the project say they are committed to working with the government in stimulating sustainable, inclusive tourism development and preserve Zimbabwe's cultural heritage.
UNOPS continues to work collaboratively with National Museums and Monuments of Zimbabwe and UNESCO to ensure the activities associated with the plans and strategies that are going to be presented here today are delivered by the end of 2024. Now that all permissions have been granted for the infrastructure aspects of the project, UNOPS will expedite the consultations with partners to find a way forward to deliver the visitor and interpretation facilities work.
France has the Eiffel Tower and Zimbabwe has Great Zimbabwe. The site offers a huge potential for the tourism, and it will allow to boost the local, national, the regional economy, as well as to act on the social, the gender, and the youth issue. And the deliverables we will see today will help in this. So this project is a new example of the success of Zimbabwe and French partnerships.
The Great Zimbabwe Development Project is worth €3 million and will ensure establishment of visitor facilities at the Great Zimbabwe World Heritage Site. Mes Matita, ZBC News, Mashingo.
Government is working on modalities to suspend the levies and value-added tax on cattle selling in a move aimed at protecting farmers.
The newly established village business unit at the Livestock Drought Mitigation Center in Karanyamba, Gwanda has breathed in new life in the usually dry area. While their only source of water, Karanyamba Dam, had given into the ravages of El Nino-induced drought, food security for both livestock and the community had also been compromised.
Silwisa ngamandla wonke ukuthi ekupheleni kwayo yonke izilimo esizifunayo sizilime siphumelele lathi ukwenzela ukuthi sithole intengo yokuthi sibe lenzuzo yokuthengisa sizuza izimali ezokuthi noma silokungumunjana sigayise
sizazuza isichebo sizazuza imali omama asisahluphani labo abasahluphani lathi
akade luhlupho lukhulu
uhulumende ubuye kuhle ngoba sesiyathola clean safe water
kakhulu sibili siyathaba manje abesihlupha kakhulu ekona mbijana.
While the village business unit will transform villagers' livelihoods, the government has moved a step further with discussions on suspending levies on cattle selling until the next rain season to help farmers realize profits in the livestock.
The discussion around the livestock sales centers has been about the VAT that has been imposed on abattoirs and also the rural district council levies. So we want to have a conversation around that to see whether we can't have some interim relief for these communities throughout the country as government's contribution and local authorities' contribution to mitigation for drought. So that is the conversation that we're going to have going forward.
Rural district councils have been charging 11.6% of the sold cow on the buyer, which would then be shared among the stakeholders, with the council getting 6%, 3% going to the livestock development program, the auctioneer getting 1.5%, and a value-added tax of 1.125%. This would then burden the farmer as buyers negotiate for cheaper prices to meet the RDC levy. Providence Maranelli, ZBC News, Gwanda.
The Scientific and Industrial Research and Development Center has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring food security in the country in the wake of the El Nino-induced drought.
Through innovative research and development, the Scientific and Industrial Research and Development Center, SEDIC, is working to improve crop yields, develop drought-tolerant maize seeds, and produce high-quality livestock feeds. In an interview with ZBC News on the sidelines of their annual general meeting in Harare this Friday, SEDIC Chief Executive Officer Dr. Leonard Madzingaidzo said the organization is developing and producing drought-tolerant maize seeds and livestock feeds to mitigate the impact of drought on humans and cattle.
We have developed more varieties that are drought tolerant, Cedar Maize 115. Also, we've come up with the new one, Cedar Maize 713. These will be released into the market this year. We have initiated a program on livestock feed production here at the center to develop a model that can be used by smallholder farmers. We've designed a process and a plant to manufacture foot and mouth disease vaccine.
Meanwhile, a representative from the Office of Vice President General Retired Dr. Constantino Chiwenga, Mr. Mahlengosi Khumalo, urged SEDIC to consider collaborations with development partners.
I also note the requirement of a budget of US 45 million for the establishment of a plant to produce 6 million doses of the foot and mouth disease vaccine per annum to meet local requirements. Despite government support, I urge SIDC to consider funding through collaboration with the development partners.
With government support and collaboration with development partners, SEDC is poised to make a significant impact in the lives of smallholder farmers and rural communities as the country navigates the challenges of climate change.
The Pan-African Parliament has launched a model law on food and nutrition security in Africa, which is expected to provide a practical operation framework in the wake of climate change.
Officially launched at the PAP headquarters in Midrand, South Africa Friday, the model law provides a framework for coordinated efforts to ensure food and nutrition security on the African continent. The event was attended by the World Food Programme WFP Deputy Director, Africa Union Global Office, Lee De Kwame, who stressed the importance of capacity building for the continent to be fully equipped to increase agricultural production.
With our presence in 46 countries in Africa, and with by means of the partnerships that are established with the governments, we can contribute and participate with in sensitization and advocacy actions.
Adopted by the African Union as a policy document, the model law has also been welcomed as a strong advocacy tool by the Africa Union Development Agency.
Within a single document, capture all the importance and relevant aspects on the question of food and nutrition security. So it's a very strong advocacy tool.
PAP President Chief Fortune Charumbira also welcomed the model law on food and nutrition security, which comes at a time when Southern Africa is grappling with El Nino-induced drought.
With all the advantages that we enjoy on this continent, in terms of climate, soils, land, and everything, why should we be fed by countries whose climatic conditions are even more hostile than the ones that we enjoy? I think we need to ask ourselves fundamental questions.
The ultimate goal is to ensure that Africa is food self-sufficient through boosting agricultural production. Ian Roma, ZBC News, Midrand.
The First Lady, Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, has encouraged communities to facilitate and concentrate on traditional meals which have high nutritional value and promote cognitive development. She made the remarks in Epworth during her school's feeding program.
Thousands of learners from schools in Epworth, Mavuku and Tafara thronged Domboramwari Primary School in Epworth this Friday, where First Lady Dr. Auxilia Mnangagwa, through a school's feeding program, prepared meals that were served to primary school learners, which is in line with the mission to provide good nutrition to children. Amai Mnangagwa, who is also the country's Health and Childcare Ambassador, launched the program to complement government's efforts in reintroducing feeding in schools. With the help of women from the community, Amai prepared and served a hot, sumptuous meal comprising sadza, beef, vegetables, chicken, and muriwo nedovi. The children were also served with juice. After feeding the children, Amai proceeded to address the gathering, where she hammered on the importance of consuming traditional dishes which are highly nutritious. The mother of the nation added that nowadays children are sickling, yet in the past our ancestors were healthy because they consumed healthy food, tree leaves, roots and barks that were medicinal. They also preserved their trees and plants. Therefore, there is need for the current generation to avoid cutting down trees and grass.
Mwana kana achikura anoumbwa nezvaanodya. Zvichireva kuti mwana anozova dera pakukura kwake kana akashaya chikafu chakaringana. Mwana anoda kukudzwa nechikafu chinounza kusimba kwebvupa rake, kusimba kwendangariro dzake, kusimba kwemabatiro ake, zvichibva muchikafu chatinowana kubva kumba. Zvino unoona mazuva ano mukatarisa vana vedu totora tsika dzekwevamwe. Vana vedu votarisira chikafu chedu pasi kuti aiwa chinonyadzisa, handingaende kuchikoro ndichinzi ndina maputi, ndichinzi ndine nzungu dzakakwanga dzakasanganiswa nemaputi, ndinosekwa navamwe. Izvozvo chikafu chedu ndo chemakare kare vazukuru chaidyiwa nana mbuya vakare vamwe vatisina kuona nana sekuru. Havairwara rwara zvotoita nhasi izvi. Zvirwere zvatiwandira. Nguva iyoyo vakanga vasingarwari rwari sanhasi zvoitika. Nguva iyoyo vakanga vasinazve zvipatara. Vairarama nokudya kwatinako nhasi uku kwatiri kudzidzisana kuti ngatichidzokerai kuhunhu hwedu hwatinotedzera munyika yedu yekwedu ino yeZimbabwe.
Dr. Mnangagwa also held an interactive session with both learners and parents on the indicators of good health and on what a healthy meal comprises.
Nhasi tiri kuti isu vana kuti utano hwako hunge hwakachengetedzeka unofanirwa kuita sei nhai vazukuru?
Manheru todya sadza rine zviyo, masikati todya rice nedovi.
Tofanira kudya chikafu chakanaka chakachena.
Tinobika tumutakura twenyimo nenyemba nemafushe, toti mafushe kumasvingo.
The Mother of the Nation also took time to raise awareness on the effects of drug abuse, engaging youngsters on the types of drugs they know. They also mimicked how a person high on drugs behaves. Amai Mnangagwa also spoke on the need for the children to be well-mannered and disciplined.
Uyai tidzidzise vamwe tidzidze nhasi pano kuti kuzvichengetedza chii?
Kuzvichengetedza kuzvibata, usabatwe madhontachi.
The children broke into song which speaks on the importance of respecting their bodies and protecting themselves from sexual abusers. Amai Mnangagwa educated learners on the need to report cases of abuse to a national gender-based violence call center number 575. In a speech read on his behalf by his permanent secretary, Mr. Cosmas Chiringa, the Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Harare Metropolitan Province, Senator Charles Tawengwa, highlighted that the program embodies commitment to ensure health and well-being of the future generation.
Through your vision and dedication, Your Excellency, this feeding program addresses the challenges and provide our school children with the nourishment they need to thrive. By ensuring that every child has access to a balanced and healthy meal during the school day, we are not only meeting their immediate nutritional needs, but also investing in their long-term success.
Minister of Primary and Secondary Education, Dr. Torerai Moyo, reckoned the program is strategic in enhancing education outcome, health, and social protection.
The significance of this event today is very much in line with the commitment made by our head of state, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa, at the United Nations Transforming Education Summit in 2022. One of the commitments that Zimbabwe is working on following the Transforming Education Summit is the provision of school meals as a strategy for enhancing learning outcomes, health as well as social protection.
The event, which was well subscribed, was also attended by school heads, teachers, parents, the Deputy Minister of Tourism and Hospitality Industry, Comrade Tongai Mnangagwa, and other government officials. For more information, do remember to visit our website at www.zbcnews.co.zw.
You can also engage with us on our X handle at ZBC News Online, our Facebook page, YouTube channel, as well as our WhatsApp channel. Our handles remain ZBC News Online. Now, stories still to come in this bulletin.
In business, Zimbabwe's investor-friendly policies charm foreign investors.
And in sports news, the football fraternity bids farewell to the late former Dynamis and Ghana's striker Norman Maroto. We're after a break. We will be back with more. Just stay with us.
This is the currency we've been waiting for. A currency that's not just paper and coins, but a symbol of Zimbabwe's rich resources and stability. That's Zimbabwe Gold. This is ZIG. Let's dive into what makes ZIG not just a new currency, but a new beginning for Zimbabwe's economy. ZIG is born out of a blend of traditional and innovative financial wisdom, anchored in gold and precious metals, along with foreign currency reserves. This backing isn't just for show, it's a promise of stability and trust, ensuring that ZIG's value is as solid as the gold it's pegged to. From the bustling markets of Harare to the serene landscapes of rural Zimbabwe, ZIG is set to become the medium of exchange that's both reliable and accessible, with denominations ranging from ZIG 200 to ZIG 1 and even handy coins. It caters to every transaction, big or small. Transitioning to ZIG is a breeze. It's all about inclusivity, ensuring no one is left behind in Zimbabwe's financial renaissance. ZIG doesn't walk alone. It co-circulates with other foreign currencies under Zimbabwe's multi-currency system, enriching our financial landscape. It's a legal tender that not only simplifies transactions, but also restores confidence in our economy, promising a future where stability and growth go hand in hand. So why ZIG? Because it's more than just money. It's a symbol of Zimbabwe's resilience, a step towards an economy where stability is the norm, and every Zimbabwean can look forward to a prosperous future. Welcome to the era of Zimbabwe Gold, where our currency is our pride.
Zimbabwe's mining legacy is a story etched deep in our soil. It's a tale of hard work, resilience, and human ingenuity in unearthing riches and building a nation. This commitment to progress continues as mining industry players continue to unlock the vast potential of our mineral reserves, driving economic transformation through innovation, mineral beneficiation, and value addition. Are you ready to be part of the next chapter? Explore cutting-edge advancements and discover endless opportunities in Zimbabwe's expanding mining value chains at the 27th edition of Mine Entra, taking place from July 17 to 19, 2024 at the Zimbabwe International Exhibition Center in Bulawayo. Register via our website www.zitf.co.zw. Mine Entra 2024, Unearthing Success, the Mining Value Chains, Innovation and Industrialization Nexus.
Zimbabwe, where the sun kisses the earth, lies a world of endless opportunity.
Here, amidst the vibrant colors and lively exchanges, the spirit of abundance lives. Allow yourself the opportunity to connect and innovate. See the future of your business at the 114th edition of the Zimbabwe Agricultural Show.
Filled with ideas, new and radical, that are cultivating prosperity, growing business, innovating for change, and nurturing our future. From agriculture to agribusiness, and from agricultural education to agritourism, every sector finds a place to flourish here. where companies unveil their latest innovations and network with current and potential markets. ZAS 2024, where the future of all business sectors is being written today.
The Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation is seeking a visionary leader to shape our future. Are you a commercially astute CEO with a passion for innovation and transformation? Do you have a proven track record in business strategy and digital aptitude? If so, this is your opportunity to lead ZBC into a new era. We need a CEO who can drive growth, foster a customer-centric culture, and embrace emerging technologies. You will be responsible for upholding the highest standards of corporate governance and risk management. Scan the QR code or visit www.ipcconsultants.com/jobs/100547 to apply. Don't miss this chance to shape the future of ZBC. Apply now and be the driving force behind ZBC's success.
You're still watching News at 8. Thank you for staying with us. Stakeholders in the fight against drug and substance abuse have called on the Marondera municipality to bring order to an abandoned block of flats in Dombotombo, which has become a home to drug peddlers.
Broken windows, dark rooms, non-functional drainage system and no running water is what characterizes an abandoned block of flats now popularly known as Gabulenda, a name borrowed from the popular Magaba in Bari, Harare. The flats, which were condemned by the Marondera municipality, have become free for all, where drug peddling and sex work has become order of the day. A convict who is serving his time at Marondera prison on a drug-related offense and was part of an anti-drug awareness march held in Marondera this Friday confirmed that the place is where drugs are sold.
Ndaidhakwa nemutoriro ndichisaplaya mutoriro kupedzisira ndakubira vanhu ndichida kunohodha mutoriro nzvimbo yandiri ino yevashoma vasingandiziye ndichidhakwa.
The organizers of the march, who stopped by the flood, concurred that there is need for order at the place if the war against drugs is to be won.
Nzvimbo inoidai vakuru venzvimbo yemarondera vatora action nekuti vana vedu vari kuparara, vana vedu vari kukuvara, nyika yedu iri kufa.
Wakapinda mukati imomoka unenge wakanganisa upenyu hwako. Terera inini Oscar Pambuka everenga news akarohwa nemutoriro adzoka ari kuudza iwewe muyouth kuti never ever ever get into that world. Mutoriro uri kuaffecta malawyer, madoctor, mapastor, maheadmaster, hauna zera, hauna class.
Even inhabitants of the flats agree that there's a lot of drug peddling at Gabulenda.
Drugs mune masikisekazi mune vabereki vasikafanira kunge vachiona zvatei tichiita vana vadiki saka tochikukumbira kuti mutibatsiro nepekugara.
Hombe yatoda kuti timire mugabulenda ndiye zvinodhaka vanodhakwa varimo zveshuwemo zvinodhaka vanoshandisa vakomana zvakanga vadhakwa vakomana zvine chavo inoizi chete togona kutotadza kuvata nenoizi.
The call to deal with suppliers and places dealing in drugs comes at a time President Emmerson Mnangagwa launched the Zimbabwe multi-sectoral plan against drug and substance abuse at State House on Wednesday. Gerald Sasa, ZBC News, Marondera.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police is investigating circumstances which led to a fire at the residence of Deputy Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Honorable David Kudakwashe Mnangagwa.
ZRP National Spokesperson Commissioner Paul Nyati confirmed that investigations are underway, saying full details will be released in due course.
The Zimbabwe Republic Police confirms that investigations are currently underway in connection with a fire incident which occurred last night, that is the 28th of June 2023, at the house of the Honorable Deputy Minister of Finance, Economic Development and Investment Promotion, Kudakwashi David Mnangagwa. As we speak, investigations are currently underway, and we will be releasing more information in due course.
Meanwhile, the ZRP has released the names of 5 people who died in a road traffic accident which occurred on the 27th of this month along Karoi-Binga Road. A manhunt has been launched for the driver who fled the scene after the accident.
Some of these accidents, they are clearly pointing to an element of recklessness on the part of the driver and the vehicle owner. We are told that this lorry was being driven by the owner. And just imagine, people are mixing goods, grinding meals, tons of maize, groceries, roofing sheets, and the passengers. So it's something which we are calling upon vehicle owners, something which we are calling upon drivers to be safety conscious.
The victims have been identified as Mwari Anesuti Varasi, a male adult of Mapindu Village, Siakov, Asani Zitauro 38, a male adult of Shambaroba Village, Siakov, Patrick Maregere 57, a male adult of Kasinamoyo Village, Siakov, Wayne Donono 22, a male adult of Kasinamoyo Village, Siakov, Aaron Chikato 32, a male adult of Mutso Village, Siakov. The Zimbabwe Republic Police has urged motorists not to exceed vehicles' loading capacities and mixing goods with passengers when traveling. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
On that note, we get more news from our Montreal studios in Bulawayo, where Dora Ngube is on standby. Dora, it's over to you.
Thank you so much, Yvonne. Good evening to you as well as Tanaka. We continue with the news at 8. Experts at the Computer Society of Zimbabwe Winter School held in Bulawayo have highlighted the potential of artificial intelligence, AI in financial technology, fintech, to empower marginalized communities and contribute to the nation's development. More in the following report.
Lack of credit history, limited documentation, and geographical remoteness often act as barriers to financial inclusion for many citizens in Zimbabwe. Fintech experts at the Computer Society of Zimbabwe Winter School, held in Bulawayo this Friday, highlighted the transformative potential of artificial intelligence as an emerging game changer, offering innovative solutions to empower communities.
Going to help ordinary citizens in terms of accessing banking services through their phone, as well as they can be able to sell their products from farming, so that also they can help you to save monies from their activities, such that at the end of the day, they are able to enjoy those services which previously couldn't access.
So SMS platform can actually, it's easy to do and doesn't require a lot of, technical know-how. And it is convenient as well. So we can embed AI on these platforms and help marginalized people, and also help places where there is infrastructure limitation to be able to transact and do these things.
Computer Society of Zimbabwe Vice President Mr. Fredin Lovu said financial inclusion is a crucial pillar of a thriving economy, and AI-powered fintech solutions hold immense potential in achieving this goal.
It actually makes business processing efficient, and when you utilize fintech, you actually ensure that you minimize and make sure that minimize costs, reduce costs, and ensure that then when you do your risk management well, then it means everyone stands to benefit and there's no one left behind.
Technology is a key pillar of the National Development Strategy 1, and harnessing the power of AI and financial technology presents a unique opportunity for Zimbabwe to bridge the financial divide, empower marginalized communities, and create an overall sustainable economic growth. Hilandmo, ZBC News, Bulawayo.
Government is set to propel the industrialization drive through addressing the existing skills gap as the country targets to attain an upper middle income society by 2030.
It emerged a skills audit workshop this Friday that these skills being crafted by the Ministry of Skills Audit and Development will complement government efforts in addressing the industrial needs.
Apart from the physical capital and the material resources, all the resource endowment that are in the Midlands province, as long as we don't have skilled labor, skilled people to transform those resources, to value add and beneficiate them, those resources will mean nothing.
Midlands Minister of State for Provincial Affairs and Devolution, Honorable Owen Mume, weighed in saying skills development is key in advancing national aspirations.
The Midlands Province is a proud beneficiary of the tireless efforts by His Excellency the President, Comrade Emerson Dambudzo Mnangagwa, who has opened up the economy to domestic and foreign investment, resulting in the country benefiting from infrastructure development, technology transfer, and employment opportunities.
The skills revolution being undertaken by the Ministry of Skills, Audit and Development is set to address the country's skills gap, which currently stands at 38%. Tafara Chikumira, ZBC News, Gweru.
Ecotourism has been cited as an important stimulus and sources of revenue to promote sustainable conservation of forest, wildlife, and other natural resources across the country.
Established in 2006 by 181 families resettled in the area, the Nyangambe Community Conservancy has set aside plans to venture into ecotourism as part of efforts to provide incentives for the locals to protect and sustainably manage their forests, wildlife, and water resources. Members of the Nyangambe Community Conservancy believe ecotourism will be an important source of revenue.
Bozi kuchengetwa kwemuka kwatiri sevanhu vatema tina kunge takazvijaira kana kuti tiri mazviri isu takakura tichengeta mbudzi nemombe.
This project yakabatana neSavi Valley Conservancy. Muka dzinobva kuSavi Valley Conservancy dzinopinda muno ivo vowanavo quota yavo vowanavo.
Speaking at the Nyangambe Community Conservancy Business Plan handover ceremony, USAID Zimbabwe Mission Director Ms. Janine Davis said they are focused on building the capacity of local partners and communities on sustainable natural resources governance.
Today we look ahead to a new path for Nyangambe Community Conservancy as we hand over the Tourism Business Plan. It will serve as a blueprint and a guideline for how the communities, the private sector partners, the government of Zimbabwe, and other stakeholders can identify opportunities to invest in conservation, benefiting everyone in this community.
The Nyangambe Community Conservancy dovetails with government's devolution agenda, which stipulates that communities must derive benefit from the exploitation of resources in their areas.
In line with the National Vision 2030 of achieving an upper middle income society, there is need to ensure that we escalate the role of tourism in improving our livelihoods of our people in our local communities.
Tourism is the third largest contributor to the national gross domestic product. Gay Matambo, ZBC News, Chiredzi.
And well, that's it from us here at Montrose. We now take you back to Yvonne and Tanaka for more news. Ladies, it's back to you.
Many thanks to you, Dora, for giving us part of the bulletin from Montrose. Now, moving on, ZANU-PF National Political Commissar, Comrade Munyarazi Machacha, has called for discipline and unity among affiliates of the ruling party in order to enhance mobilization of supporters.
At least 140 groups affiliated to the ruling party converged in Bindura this Friday to meet with ZANU-PF leadership and strategize regards their mandate and mobilization of new supporters. Addressing the affiliates, ZANU-PF National Commissar Comrade Munyarazi Machacha highlighted that the associates are an important facet of the ruling party that should work in harmony with the party to advance common interests.
Toda kuona value yauri kukanda muhomwe yechi yeZANU-PF. Tiri pabasa yezvino rokuvaka masero. Saka toda kuziva kuti minus muchatipa vanhu vanozadza masero mangani. Toda kuziva kuti vari kuita zvemahwindi muchatipa mahwindi anozadza masero mangani. Taridzai kuti muri vanhu vane gwara romusangano. Nokuti kuti umobilize urecruite unofanirwa kunge une shoko rauri kuparidza rinoenderana neshoko riri kuparidzwa nomusangano.
ZANU-PF Mashonaland Central Province Vice Chairman Honorable Christopher Magomo said the province is prepared to work well with affiliates.
takazongorora sema-affiliates affiliates yedu inofamba zvakanaka. Ndokumbira kuti ndikuudze kuti number 1 idiscipline chaiyo. Se-affiliate tinofanira kunge tine discipline.
Cause of affiliates such as vendors for economic development, young women for economic development, and SMEs for economic development welcomed the engagement meeting for giving them direction.
Tirikuzikana musangano kuti kune mavanigads ariko saka kuno kumashona sendrawo ngakune nyika yese zvayo takomborerwa.
Affiliates anofanira kuzvibata nemhando inotaridza gwara remusangano uyezve NPC vataura kuti ma-affiliates ari kufanira kuti aendeswe ku-school of ideology which is very fundamental.
Asi tadzidziswa naNational PC gwara rokufamba naro vokukudza vokurespekta kusvikirira donzvo renyika yedu yevision 2030 rasvika.
The ruling party has begun sending affiliates to the Chitepo School of Ideology to ensure they receive adequate orientation towards the party ideology. Tapiwa Machemedze, ZBC News, Pindura.
Women from Harare's Glenview suburb have found a niche in carpentry, which has for long been a male-dominated field.
For far too long, a woman's place was in the home, but the trend is changing as more women are stepping into male-dominated fields. We caught up with female carpenters from Glenview Area 8 complex. We've made a mark in this exclusively male domain.
In the outdoor workshop sheds, the women of all age groups are cutting and polishing wood for furniture. Despite the physical demands and safety concerns, the precision and passion they put in their work make the women exceptional.
Azvinese togadzira zvese mabhesi madhoyo waenda pakatogadzira.
Taona kuti zvekuti tiite zvemudholo azviite azvibude ngatiite zvebasa remaoko.
Rinokwadza patinoti zvakanyanya asi zvinhu zvataita zvatajaira. Zvakafanana kuti kana uchiroera chisipikirika. Saka ukakangatisa unogona kuroera utotsinga ndimukona. Zvekuti even kana kunyanga kwatinoenda kunotonhora zvisingeti. Mune muchikwira makomo muchiita up and down.
The women urge their female counterparts to follow their lead and reap the rewards.
Kune vamwe madzimai ndinotomakurudzira kuti ngauye tibatane panapa titoshanda tese semadzimai titoitawo club yedu. Kana kambani yedu kutovhurawo kambani inozi ndeye madzimai.
Kune vamwe madzimai ngavashande. Ngavasanzo vamwe vanenge vakumira mutachirai vachitsvaga mari zvokuti vamwe vanopedzisira enda pawo madrugs nezvinhu zvisina basa.
Kuti usanetsana mumba nemurume gara washanda uine mari yako. Hamumbonyanyoiti ndofunga nyaya dzakawanda dzinobuda nyaya dzekuda mari yemunhu. Musaite zvemadrugs, musaite zvemujolo. Uyai tiite zvebasa.
Regardless of how challenging it is, carpentry has proved to be a viable career option for women. Festus Mkunguritse, ZBC News, Harare.
Well, talk about women empowerment and women entering spaces that nobody ever imagined. Kudos to them for doing that. I'm on my way there to get myself something, I guess. Maybe a base? I don't know. We're after a break. Join us on a return with more.
In today's fast-paced world, paying in Zig is not just about exchanging physical cash. It's about tapping into the electronic payment space, where convenience meets technology. On Zimbabwe's stable, safe, sound, and efficient national payment system, experience seamless transactions at your fingertips, anytime, anywhere. Join the future of payments today with Zig. Secure, reliable, effortless. Pay the smart way. Pay with Zig.
Life is beautiful. Soft care. So fit, so right.
The Zimbabwe Broadcasting Corporation is seeking a visionary leader to shape our future. Are you a commercially astute CEO with a passion for innovation and transformation? Do you have a proven track record in business strategy and digital aptitude? If so, this is your opportunity to lead ZBC into a new era. We need a CEO who can drive growth, foster a customer-centric culture, and embrace emerging technologies. You will be responsible for upholding the highest standards of corporate governance and risk management. Scan the QR code or visit www.ipcconsultants.com/jobs/100547 to apply. Don't miss this chance to shape the future of ZBC. Apply now and be the driving force behind ZBC's success.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 8. Thank you for staying with us. Now in business, Zimbabwe's economic status is poised to further improve as local and foreign investors flock to capitalize on the country's vast business opportunities.
The Africa Investment Leaders Forum and Awards held on Friday in Harare was a platform for investors to learn more on the available business opportunities in Zimbabwe.
I can tell that this is the place to be for investment. Infrastructure is in place, and even though there is a sanctions, I'm impressed.
We are looking at investment opportunities. So what I learned was a lot of Zimbabweans go to Tanzania, and a lot of Tanzanians come to Zimbabwe. There's a lot of business between Zimbabwe and Tanzania.
Government supportive and friendly policies has attracted local and international investors who are upbeat on the future of Zimbabwe as a favorable business portfolio.
We are not there to just complain about our country, but as we build Zimbabwe together, even while you're in diaspora, you can also build Zimbabwe. How do you then build Zimbabwe when you're in diaspora? Be positive about your country. Speak positive about your country. Speak positive about your leaders.
Zimbabwe belongs to Zimbabweans, and Zimbabwe cannot be built certainly to the tune that we want by foreigners only, because they don't know our vision. We know what we want. We are the Zimbabweans.
The word of advice that I can give to people is for the people to follow the mantra of the president. So we should try by all means that when we are entrepreneurs, we should search for opportunities rather than sitting on our hands and brains. We will remain like that until business undertakers shadow us to grave.
In recognition of their outstanding contributions to Africa's economic growth, investors were honored with prestigious awards for their tireless efforts in promoting investments across the continent. Peter Chivima, ZBC News, Harare.
Tobacco prices have firmed during this year's marketing season, helping to increase revenue despite a decline in production due to drought.
Tobacco prices have firmed by an average 20% during the current marketing season compared to last year, hence mitigating the revenue losses arising from a dip in deliveries due to the El Nino-induced drought. Tobacco deliveries fell by 24% from 277 million kilograms last year to 210 million kilograms in 2024, while revenues realized on day 70 declined by 14% at $726 million in comparison to last year's $838 million.
We've seen that there are still some pockets where tobacco is still coming in, which have been affected, and I believe at the moment that due to that effect, the regulator would actually advise our regulator to take into consideration those farmers who are still delivering, so that we don't have a premature closure of the market.
The government set a target of 230 million kilograms for this year, taking into account the effects of drought, and analysts are expressing satisfaction with this year's performance of the industry. Owen Mendova, ZBC News, Harare.
And that's a wrap of our look at business news. Now in the arts, ZBC's Classic 263 held its 6th anniversary celebrations in Harare Friday night.
It was a moment of reflection, retrospection, and celebration for producers, presenters, and listeners as the station marked the 6 years of broadcasting.
We've actually introduced quite a number of programs that we are actually sort of catering for those who are out of the country. And of course, we also introduced the Classic 263 Listeners Club, whereby we are also encouraging our listeners of the station to come with their views, all right, and tell us what they intend to listen to, and perhaps appreciate what we are doing as a station.
ZBC's Director for Radio Services, Mr. Albert Chekai, says Classic 263 has recorded several milestones since its inception.
Radio landscape, as you can see, it's a highly competitive. And when we talk of competition, we are talking about 18 radio stations competing. So the first decision we made was to rebrand. And as the Classic 263 now, we say we have 6 years. And over the 6-year period, it has been a period of competition, a period of soul searching. And where we are today, we are proud to say we have managed to hold our own in the music, in the radio sector.
Listeners say Classic 263 is a station of choice to the mature at heart.
A Classic 263, I would say it's a very mature radio station, very mature. I love their music. I love their programs like Nakanomics. I love it. It teaches us a lot about the village world that we had not looked at that side.
For us, it's a good station. They play nice music.
Classic 263, formerly SFM, is known for its educative and informative talk radio programming. Patience Nyagato, ZBC News, Harare.
For over a month now, Killer T has maintained his dominance on the chart with his love song Kananda Nyura, which is still on pole position on the Radio Zimbabwe Top 20 chart show.
The love song, with more than 3 million views on YouTube, is still the most popular hit of the show. DT Biomudimba is among the top contenders, with his song Amana Mazuva claiming 3rd position. Gospel songstress Dorcas Moyo was on position 8 with her song Mberedza Vepi, while another gospel song Goririno by Tembalami and The Unveiled occupied 6th. Zimdenso fans are well catered for, with Windsor occupying position 12 with his song Denga. Madiro by K-Chaps dropped from 9 to 14 this week. Patience Nyagato, ZBC News, Harare.
And that's a look at arts news for tonight. Remember, you can get more information on our website. That is www.zbcnews.co.zw. You can also interact with us on our various social media platforms at ZBC News Online. We will be taking a look at sports news right after this break.
The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe announces a new initiative to ensure sufficient local currency in circulation. Starting June 10, Swipe for Zig Cash at any HomeLink branch using your debit or credit card. Available in your Zig denominations 1, 2, 5, and 10 Zig. You can exchange your foreign currency for Zig Cash at the prevailing interbank exchange rate. The Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe is ensuring that adequate Zig Cash is available for all, be it in public transportation, retailers, informal traders, and other key stakeholders. For more information, visit your nearest HomeLink branch. Thank you.
Give every morning the smart start it deserves with your favorite homegrown breakfast cereal. Nestle Ceravita. Fortified with Grain Smart, a smart combination of ions, vitamins and minerals. Your family gets all the energy they need to make the most of every day. That's why every morning deserves a smart start. Nestle Ceravita. Highly nutritious, simply delicious.
Welcome back. You're still watching the news at 8. Thank you for staying with us. Now in sport, starting off with rather sad news. The football community has bid farewell to the late former Dynamos and Ghana striker Numen Maroto.
The body of Norman Maroto was taken to Rufaro Stadium this Saturday, an arena where the late football icon created many memories. Hundreds gathered at the stadium in Bare to bid farewell to the former prolific striker, and many spoke glowingly of him.
I lost a friend, I lost a brother, I lost a teammate, and football of Zimbabwe will never be the same again.
Numen Maroto andirwadza ngoma ndandinaye pagame rezepc kariba zvakanaka but hatina kuziva kuti ndokuti upedzisira kuona nemukomana munhu asina kubvira abetreya team kubva paakatambira Dynamos akangoramba angori munhu weblue kusvika nhasi murufu.
Norman Maroto was not for Dynamos only, but I consider as a national asset because tichitarisa izvozvizvi taakupinda muhafu yeseason yedu asi iye since record yake yaakaita haisati yabreakwa 22 goals, top goal scorer muPremier Soccer League. Saka for that we respect that one.
He was a brother to me. Taitombowana nguva yekutombotaurawo zveupenyu mararamiro besides football taitombokurukurawo dzimwe saka izvozvi ndine bundu tiri pakuchema.
Maroto is the last player to score more than 20 goals in a single Premier Soccer League season, a feat which has proven to be beyond reach for the current generation of strikers. He will be laid to rest on Monday at his rural home in Guruve.
Rest in peace, Nomar. Till we meet again. Go well.
Indeed, may his soul rest in eternal peace. Bulawayo Giants Highlanders will have a lot to work on during the Premier Soccer League mid-season break after being edged 2-0 by Yada at the Hart Stadium.
Our former Warriors talisman Kamabiliad reminded the nation of his exceptional skills again this weekend as Yada beat Highlanders in matchday 17 of the Premier Soccer League season. Jerry Chipangura opened the scoring for Yada with just over half an hour on the clock before Biliad sealed the maximum points for Yada 3 minutes later after the break to give coach Kelvin Kayindu more to ponder about ahead of the mid-season break. Highlanders, who started the season on fire after the return of the Zambian coach, continue to slump, and the defeat to Yada means that the Zambian tactician needs to go back to the drawing board during the PSL break. In Mondoro Ngezi, the home side Ngezi Platinum Stars battled to a 3-2 victory over Cape United. Obreo Chirinda's rich vein of form continued, scoring his third goal in his third appearance for Ngezi, while William Manondo's 8th goal of the season and a Hastings Chapusha strike could not rescue Cape United from defeat. Elsewhere, Simba Bora returned to winning ways after edging ZPC Kariba by a goal to nil, while Manika Diamonds continued with its winless streak after playing out to a goalless draw against Bulawayo Chiefs. Meanwhile, the Premier Soccer League will take a one-weekend mid-season break after Sunday's matches, and the competition will resume on the 13th of July. Reynaud Ngwarati, ZBC News.
That's all we had for you tonight. Thank you for having joined us. Good night.
Another chance.